Hi, everybody, and welcome to Proline, direct from Las Vegas. I'm Dave Cokin, joined as always by Jim Feist. We're going to break down a pair of baseball games going tonight, plus the NBA Finals Game 6 matchup, more NFL previews in the AFC, and betting odds and win totals we'll be focusing on there. First, Jim, we want to let people know how to subscribe to the channel. It is free, and we give away extra stuff for free as well.
Absolutely, Dave. It's very easy. Go to ProLineTV.com, click on subscribe buttons, very easy. You'll get notifications on new videos, plus you'll be sent a code to get 7 days of my service absolutely free. That's ProLineTV.com.
You know, we're rolling toward the All-Star break, but there's still plenty of action in the next several weeks, 4 weeks of action, in fact, through the All-Star break. For $29, you're going to get plays every day with me. All my value plays will be included. 1-855-472-2577. That's a toll-free number. Again, the number on the screen, 1-855-472-2577. Jim, this has been a nice roast for you. Been just attacking the books. 25-19 NBA run, 72-42 in Major League Baseball, 19-6 with the Big League Baseball High Rollers, and you kept it going last night with a 2-0.
Absolutely, 2-0 last night, Dave, with the Cubs, and a 160 underdog with the Orioles beating Boston 3-2. Get the rest of June baseball for $15. That's $1 a day. Plays every day. Just call 866-546-9467. You'll see the run I've been on. It's not magic, it's hard work. That's right, 866-546-9467.
And with that, let's start talking about some baseball games. And we'll begin with a matchup in the American League Central, Jim. Indians and Royals. Kansas City is starting to put things back together. They had a bad road trip, but they've gotten back home where they've been dynamite all year and picked up a nice come-from-behind win last night. Looked like Josh Tomlin was going to get another victory for the Indians, but they got to Brian Shaw in the bullpen, and the Royals get a big win. They're starting to build a little momentum again.
They are, and you know they've had great momentum at home. They're winning at home. They're on a 4-game winning streak. Ian Kennedy's pitching today. He's not pitching badly, and he's picked it up. He started poorly. The thing about this Corey Kluber, I never know exactly how to pronounce his name, but he has been a really good pitcher. Cy Young Award winner a couple of years ago, but he's been very unlucky.
Yes.
The guy doesn't get the kind of support. Like, if you talk about the support that Tomlin gets versus what Kluber gets, it's night and day. But he's a good pitcher. He's on the road. Kansas City's in a good spot here because this is a division rivalry, and they're looking up at the Indians ahead of them in the standings. And they were just at Cleveland, where Cleveland pounded them pretty good. So this is a good revenge situation, this whole series.
It really is. The tough part is getting past Corey Kluber because I don't know if he got very unlucky last year. And that lack of run support was still there for him somewhat this year. But you look at the guy's numbers, I mean, the whip is still right around 1.00.
He's got good numbers.
He's tough. He's not going to beat himself. This is not a guy who's going to walk a lot of people and set himself up to get beat with big innings. And lately, maybe there's some progression to the norm as far as him getting wins in games where he pitched well enough to win, which wasn't the case on a regular basis last year. They've won 4 of his last 5 starts. Easy win against the Angels. They got a bunch early. I think they got 6 right off the bat against Santiago, and with Kluber on the mound, that game was over.
When he gets a lead, he's tough.
Oh, yeah, he's really tough. Kennedy has been, okay, which is about what Ian Kennedy normally is. He had the one great year a few years back, but he's basically a middle-of-the-rotation guy, not a stopper by any means, not a bad pitcher either. But I do give the pitching edge to the Royals, or to the Indians here, and that generally is where I like to start in a game. The downside for me is that the Royals are starting to warm up, and do I want to play against a team that's 21-7 at home? Well, not really. So to me, look here for me, I'm expecting Kluber to pitch well, and therefore I think the under is the side I would.
Well, that's exactly what, and I agree. I think the under is the best play in this game. I mean, you are looking at the Royals here getting a good price at home, but you are facing a pitcher that is better, arguably. But in this spot, the end of a road trip, big revenge for the home team, I'm looking for an underplay as well.
Oddball stat, by the way, when the Indians are playing on the road against the winning team, and I realize this, it's small sample and we're kind of nitpicking, but it's interesting stuff anyway. 26-4, 20 unders, 6 overs, 4 landing on the number. So when the Indians have faced this type of team, they generally get involved in low-scoring games, which stands to reason. Indians are still a team that's going to win with pitching. The offense is okay at best. I would not look at this offense and say, well, that's a scary lineup. You're not looking at the Cubs here, let's put it that way.
Correct.
So for me, the Indians in this spot and the Royals looks like an under. Let's take a game that might go in the opposite direction. Texas playing Oakland. The Rangers are in the middle of a road trip, and they've been playing really good ball. I mean, they're 18-6 in their last 24 ball games. They're hot. The Oakland A's are a bad baseball team. They're one of the worst teams in the majors. They really don't have any particular strengths. Danny Valencia's had a heck of a year. Chris Davis can get hot once in a while. They're not horrendous offensively, but the pitching has been shaky, and one of the shaky guys has been Sonny Gray. He's had a stint on the DL. Hasn't pitched like the Sonny Gray we got used to seeing the end of a couple of years ago and all of last season. Derek Holland can be inconsistent for the Rangers. Gotten pretty good run support for the most part when he's out there. I think you could be looking at a game with some runs here.
Well, yes, you could. And as a matter of fact, when I'm looking at the numbers, the game opened Oakland 140 and 7.5 over. It's now 8 over, so the numbers have gone up. They are betting that. What I don't understand is how Oakland, who's not a great team, and you spelled that out well, they're minus 140 against Texas here. The Rangers are a way better baseball team. But a couple days ago, and this is what happens in Vegas with the money. Yeah. Money has been coming in on Oakland. 2 days ago they won. Yesterday they didn't win. But where is the money coming from on such a bad baseball team?
I was shocked on Tuesday.
Yeah, it was Tuesday.
This game...
Monday. It was Monday. I think it was Monday. They got 50-cent move and they won the game.
Tuesday, to me, was even stranger. The line moved. I think it opened... Well, I know it opened with the road team favored. And the money comes pouring in on Oakland. Yep. Goes to about 125. It might have dropped back a little bit late. With Eric Surkamp on the mound. Eric Surkamp he's a quad A guy. I mean, he's not a big league starting pitcher. He never has been. He's somewhere between PCL and major leagues. That's what he is. That's the reality. He's like a number 7 starter. I just didn't understand it, and to be honest with you, I got trapped a little bit by it. Because when I see something, it's been obvious. I've always been of the belief that if the public loves an underdog, that's the time you want to look at the favorite. It doesn't work all the time, and it didn't work here. But it's one of those things where it just looked so easy to bet Texas last night, and it turned out it was.
Well, I think you said it in the green room when we were talking earlier. The really bet in that game was the over.
Yeah.
With the way it went. But, the thing, when you look at some of this stuff, like Oakland right now has 22% of the money on this game, which that's actually not money, excuse me. That's tickets. So they measure two things, the money and tickets. A lot of tickets come from the average player, so $20 bet, $50 bet, but then you'll get a guy coming in with a 10,000 bet on the other side. It'll move the line in the opposite direction. So it's a reverse line move. We watch that a lot. The key to following smart money is to know who is the smart money and how well they're doing. There's a lot of strange money out there that moves numbers, and I'm not quite sure that I always know where they're going. So I have to be careful when I'm just going to arbitrarily find money. The first game we talked about, Cleveland, they're getting 68% of the bets, and they've gone from 135 to 145. So this is
That's a normal line move.
It is, but why? But they're betting the pitcher.
Right.
They're betting the pitcher because Kluber's a way better rating than Kennedy. So they're betting the pitcher. We do this all day. We watch this. It's kind of like watching the stock ticker, and it's watching prices and trying to figure out who's going where and where the smart money and the dumb money's going.
Now that would be a good question if somebody were to send that in. That's something we'd spend some time talking about. If you want to ask us any Nevada-style sports wagering questions, go to ProLineTV.com. Be sure to hit the subscribe button, and you'll also get 7 days of action free. And there's some reasons to go to JimFeist.com as well.
That's right. Go to JimFeist.com. You'll get free stats, articles, videos, and podcasts, and my fast facts, and plays from the top handicappers in the nation.
All right. Well, it's look, I'm surprised they're still playing. I thought that even without Draymond Green, the Warriors would get the best of Cleveland and close things out in Game 5. It didn't happen. So we're still in action. We've got Thursday night, NBA Finals Game 6. We'll break down that game next. Let's talk about this basketball game.
Okay.
I did not think, I got Game 5 wrong, okay? I thought the Warriors, Draymond Green obviously was going to make a difference, but I didn't think it would be the difference in them winning and losing the game. I thought Golden State's back home. Cleveland has to be demoralized after it was a bad loss in Game 4 at home.
Yeah, horrible.
And I thought the Warriors were going to close them out. I got it dead wrong because the Cavaliers played a great basketball game, particularly in the second half. And now they've got momentum going back home. Now, momentum can be fleeting. We know that. You know, it can disappear in the wink of an eye. But maybe Cleveland looks at this and says, hey, we're on a free roll. We were supposed to be out of this, and now we're back home with a chance to force a Game 7.
Well, they should look at it that way. You know, the issue, okay, LeBron James, this is the best basketball player in the league if he decides to play. Now, if you go back to the first time he was in Cleveland and he was playing against the Celtics and he just kind of zoned out and he just was not the dominant force. And this is a number of years ago. So he goes to Miami, pick up a couple of wins down there, championships. He's been in 6 straight championships, which is absolutely amazing. The guy's amazing. He doesn't have the outside shot normally. He did the other night. But when he is a force of nature on the floor, you really can't stop him because he has all the weapons and he has the size and he has the speed and everything else. And then when you got like Kyrie Irving going nuts the way he did the other night, I mean, I couldn't predict that in Game 5. I couldn't see that happening off of what they did in Game 4, which is basically stand out there and just dribble to the last second and figure out what to do because they really don't run that many plays. That Cleveland just doesn't do a lot of offensive skill moves and plays. They stand around, the ball freezes, the players don't. When somebody's got the ball, they're not cutting and picking it, they're standing. So this one-on-one basketball that Irving and LeBron played the other night and got 82 points between them, which was absolutely amazing and a record that they both got over 40. If they can play like that, they're a force.
But
the question is, with Draymond Green back, because this guy he could arguably be the best player on this Warrior team because he does so many different things. He scores, he rebounds, he plays defense. You know, he doesn't have to depend on a 30 and 40-foot shot to be effective and be a force of nature out there. So now they lose Bogut, which is a rim protector. He gives them some rebounds. It's Tristan Thompson is going to be, or Thomas is going to be.
That's Thompson.
Thompson? Okay. He's going to be a force of nature, and I guess Ezeli's going to have to play on the inside.
Yeah, Bogut, he's out for the series.
Yeah,
he's done.
He's out for the series. It looked like a bad injury when he got hurt. So I mean, this is definitely Cleveland's spot. Take it to Game 7. Game 7s usually the home team does very well.
Oof.
The point spread on this game is interesting. It opened Cleveland 2.5, 208. It's down to 207.5. But I see some key spots that are still favoring moving up to the 208, and it's sticking around at 2.5. Bogut was announced out. It hasn't affected the lines from this morning. And that's probably where it's going to stay for a little bit because we've got a day between now and that game. So it's a tough call.
Yeah, it is. It's a game that I think I'm going to sit it out. We don't have to bet every game. And in a sense, I hope Cleveland wins because I might take the Warriors in Game 7 with the incredible dominance that home teams have in Game 7 of the NBA playoffs. Some interesting numbers to throw at you here. Golden State 34-15-2 against the spread when they're playing on 2 days rest. 36-16 against the number when they're coming off a loss. 19-9 to the under after a double-digit loss at home. Now, these are all back-fit numbers. In other words, you can't necessarily look at that and say, well, look at that trend, so that's going to happen again. That's not the way it works because all these trends can work the other way. It's just interesting stuff.
It's interesting
mainly.
stuff.
That's why we throw it in there. By the way, head-to-head, Warriors still have covered 7 of the last 9 between these teams. If I had to bet the game, and again, I don't have to bet it, and I'm probably not going to, I think I'd take the under. I think the Warriors, I can't see the Cavaliers being nearly as hot with those two as they were the other night. That's hard. I mean, they were just inhuman. And you've got to think the Warriors, with Green on the court, become a better defensive basketball team. And they've got to be a little embarrassed about getting torched in their home court in the second half and just playing an awful 24 minutes of basketball.
I agree with all of that,
Well,
but I got to
good.
throw some stuff in here. The other day, Irving and LeBron pick up 82 points between them, 41 each. They're not going to get 82 points again, but they might get 62 points, okay? So now you're going to have to pick up, if you want to get to the kind of number they had the other day, 112, somebody else has got to play.
Yeah.
Love looks like he's in...
I don't think, is Love even going to be on the court?
I don't know.
They're better when he's not on the court.
Since he had the head thing, I mean, he has done absolutely nothing. Smith is hit and miss. They really don't have a great 3, 4, and 5 guy on that team, or not. They don't show up all the time, and that's their flaw. And their bench is not that strong either. So this is a big game for Cleveland. We all know Cleveland's had problems in every sport. They haven't won a championship in like 100 years. And the Cleveland fans are going to be there supporting them, and they always are. But Golden State, for the whole season, has been the better team. They got the better players. I don't know if I don't know if Steph is hurt. They say he might be hurt. It might be an excuse also. It seems like every time he doesn't play well, he's got some injury. When he plays well, he's great. So I don't know.
It's going to be fun. All right, we have a way for you to get free plays every day from us right to your cell phone. It's that easy.
That's right. You just text GAME, G-A-M-E, to 25827. You'll get free plays every day right to your cell phone. That's GAME, G-A-M-E, 25827. It's as easy as that.
Next up, it's our early look at the 2016 AFC South. That's coming up right here on ProLineTV.com. So let's look at the AFC South, and let's begin with the team that's the favorite. In terms of over and under win total is 9 on the Indianapolis Colts. We'll mention consensus Super Bowl price, although quite frankly, I think if you bet these, you're kind of crazy. The value is just not there on these Super Bowl bets. To me, they're almost all sucker bets. 20-1, which right there, it's too low. You just don't get your money's worth on these.
They're always going to be too low.
Ever since the Rams thing
Yeah.
back when they won it with Kurt Warner, and that was a very bad result of some of the books in town. They don't give away money on those things anymore. But the over and under win totals, that's a lot different situation. And I look at the Colts at 9, and I got my doubts on this team. Luck has to be better than he was last year, but he's got to stay healthy. There are a lot of sharp NFL guys I know who just don't think Chuck Pagano is going to be the head coach of this football team past this year.
Well, they have issues at the top of their organization as well. Their owner has had his issues as well. The thing is, the Texans, the Jaguars, and the Titans are not teams that we really can say what they are. So in this division, the Colts have owned all these teams. Now, right there, if they're going to play those guys each twice, if they dominate like they have in the past, that's 6 wins. So now it's not so hard to get to 9. I don't think they beat them all, though.
No, listen, I think Houston, Bill O'Brien's under the gun. This is a big year for him.
Well, aren't they all, though?
Because, yeah, actually, I think maybe Malarkey is still in the honeymoon frame at Tennessee. Mm-hmm. But there's no question Gus Bradley's going to take a big step forward in Jacksonville this year. And I think O'Brien needs to win in Houston. The Texans look to me, on paper, if Osweiler is what I think he's going to be, I think the Texans are slightly better than the rest of the teams in the division.
I agree. I think the Texans should be the favorite to win this division, and that's the way I'm going to bet it. As a matter of fact, they've already done that. The Jaguars have a lot to prove. They got the quarterbacks. Well, you mentioned the quarterbacks coming in. They're all kind of young guys.
I think Bortles is ready to step forward, and I'll tell you, he's got a couple of the wide receiver combos. That's a good combo. And Jacksonville was, to me, showing signs of getting closer last year. I mean, the team hasn't won in forever. And here's the downside on Jacksonville. I think they've got, Oakland looks like they might be a lame duck in Oakland at this point, so they probably have the least home field advantage. But in terms of overall, over the past few years, I think it's fair to say that Jacksonville probably got the leanest home field advantage of any team in football. They don't draw well. It's just not a pizzazz town.
They don't get much, right? Really, they don't.
And that could hurt them as they try to progress forward.
This team was 31st in the league in defense last year.
Yep, terrible.
I mean, no matter how many points, and it might be a good over bet. I mean, of course, the bookmakers know that too. They make the prices big. But you got to win. You got to play defense. And so you got Bradley there, the coach, and you should be able to put a defense together, put some pieces together on that defense and help the offense. But if it's all offense and no defense, they ain't going anywhere.
They got two young players who are going to have to step up. One of them is Jalen Ramsey, who's the 5th pick overall in the draft, and Dante Fowler missed last season. He was a very highly regarded rookie, had the ACL problem. He's said to be ready to go. That could improve the defense in a hurry.
That's very true. And I'm going to look here. Let's switch gears and look at the Titans.
All right.
I don't understand the odds here, but they're saying the Jaguars are 85-1 to win the Super Bowl and Titans are 75-1. I think that's a mistake because Jags definitely are higher rated.
I think they left a 0 off the 75 on the Titans.
But the quarterback looks solid. He's a smart guy.
I like him.
They've got a coach that has a lot of experience. He's not with this team as a head coach for a long period of time. They picked up DeMarco Murray, who we know what he did at Dallas a couple years ago. It was a fiasco in
He's got to
Philadelphia.
be so motivated after a very disappointing year in Philadelphia where he was at odds with the coach. That offensive line, though, that's the problem to me. And you got to be able to protect the quarterback. And I worry that Mariota, particularly given his style of play, I'm not saying he's going to turn into RG3 because he's bigger than RG3 and I think more physically able to take the pounding. But he's going to get hit a lot.
I think he's more coachable than RG3 as well.
I would agree with that.
And because it's hard not to be more coachable than RG3.
Well, it's true.
What I'm saying. Yeah. So, I mean, this is a smart young man that does listen. He does adjust. And I actually think the Titans are going to make a run this year. I don't know that I trust the team that they're putting on top here, the Colts.
I don't think they're
offensive line is terrible.
I don't think they're a 10-win team, and that's what it's going to take to lose your over and under bet on them. It's 9. I think I'd lean to the under. The interesting one to me, and I think this is a tip off for the bookmakers, because it's not a pizzazz team, and yet after winning only 5 last year and being a losing team for a long time, the Jaguars total 7.5. And Jim, I think they might get to 8. I don't know that I'm going to bet it, but I wouldn't bet the under.
I agree with that. I agree. I mean, you got to remember, these guys are all playing each other.
Yep.
And there's no great teams in here. It's a
fun division.
It's a fun division. You got young coaches. You got young quarterbacks. You got rebuilding going on everywhere. You really don't know what's coming out of here. To me, I'd be betting against the Colts because their offensive line is not that improved. Andrew Luck had injury issues last year. I mean, he
didn't add any free agents either, basically.
No, I mean, this looks like a bad organization in Indianapolis at this point.
Yeah, and look, Luck's got to bounce back. If I had to pick an order of finish right now, I'll go a little off the wall here. I'll take Houston as the favorite. I'll put Jacksonville second. I think the Colts go backwards or stay backwards and finish third, and Tennessee in 4th place for this year.
I'm with you, but I'm going to say the Colts and Tennessee might end up very close to each other.
Wow. All right. Good stuff. If you want to get free plays every day on a recorded message from the Vegas experts team here, including Jim and myself, toll-free number, I'm not going to mention the one, 888-478-9222. 888-478-9222.
Plus, go to jimfeist.com for free stats, videos, podcasts, fast facts, and plays from the top nation's handicappers. You can't beat it. And go to prolinetv.com, click on the subscribe button. You'll get notifications for new videos. Plus, you'll be sent the code for how you can get 7 days of my service absolutely free. That's prolinetv.com.
And thanks for joining us. We appreciate you tuning in every week. We'll do it again next week with more baseball, more football, no basketball. It'll be done by that time. No hockey either. We'll see you next week.